Samsung appears enamored with wasp-wasted devices. Do we even need super slim phones? Time is fast, and at the very beginning of 2026, Samsung's next flagship family, the Galaxy S26, will be a reality. All three new models are said to be slimmer than their predecessors. We've heard similar accusations earlier, but now we have some solid numbers at our disposal. The new report claims that the three flagship models will allegedly shed several fractions of the millimeter. The goal is to come closer to Galaxy S25 Edge, the first super-thin Galaxy S phone. As far as the upcoming S26 Ultra goes, the source indicates this is how compact an Ultra model can get with the present built-in S Pen. So if future S Ultra phones want to go below 7.8 millimeters, they'll probably have to rely on an external S Pen, or a stylus that's significantly narrower than the one we have currently, or maybe drop the S Pen totally. If you're not a die-hard Samsung fan, you're probably asking what's with the Galaxy S26 Pro model and where's the traditional baseline Galaxy S26? Well, it happens so that the Galaxy S26 Pro moniker might be used for the Galaxy S26, simple as that. Samsung's Galaxy S series has historically followed to a three-model format: Basic, Plus, and Ultra, but the Galaxy S26 lineup may break convention. A GSMA database entry displaying the S26 Pro under model number SMS 942, formerly related to the standard S26, suggests a simple rename rather than considerable hardware modifications. The Pro designation seems intended at matching Samsung's strategy with Apple and Chinese rivals, potentially justifying a price hike without considerable upgrades. Also, the Plus model could be replaced by the Edge variation. Regardless of the monikers though, the Galaxy S26 variants might all be slimmer. Yes or no? Next, new Samsung Internet update for Galaxy S26 with the One UI 8.5 is in the works. Moments ago, a Galaxy S26 Ultra firmware leak stated that Samsung is working on the next big software update for the forthcoming flagship, the One UI 8.5. We have received a hint that the business is preparing a new Samsung Internet version for the S26 and the next iteration of One UI. This future Samsung Internet version for the Galaxy S26 running One UI 8.5 may or may not contain an enhanced address and tab bar design. Samsung is quite early in development, so we can't be confident of any adjustments at the present. The One UI 8.5 is slated to launch alongside the Galaxy S26 series, the latter of which should be announced in early 2026. As usual, numerous Samsung apps will be upgraded to fit the One UI 8.5, but only time will tell what these improvements will entail. The One UI 8.5 is slated to launch alongside the Galaxy S26 series, the latter of which should be announced in early 2026. As usual, numerous Samsung apps will be upgraded to fit the One UI 8.5, but only time will tell what these improvements will entail. In terms of the screen, we're still anticipating a 6.9-inch AMOLED panel, though Ice Universe claims it'll include the third-generation anti-reflective glass. The S25 Ultra features a brilliant display that's excellent for watching videos, but the anti-reflective glass for the S26 Ultra could further decrease reflections while watching material under brighter conditions or outside. This would be amazing, but it'll be fascinating to watch if Samsung improves its brightness. That's because in our own tests, the S25 Ultra hit a peak brightness of 1860 nits, making it one of the brightest in a flagship, only eclipsed by the Pixel 9 Pro XL with its 2649 nit reach. Beyond that, it's impossible to determine what else Samsung could tweak or introduce around the display. Earlier in the year, Ice Universe suggested that Samsung would resuscitate the variable rate aperture with the S26 Ultra. It would be the first time such a feature had emerged on a Samsung phone since the Galaxy S10 in 2018. Although, Samsung did offer a virtual aperture control with the S25 Ultra. However, in August, Ice Universe stated that the main camera will employ an f/1.4 aperture, with the same 200 megapixels main sensor as the previous iteration. This, he later noted, should see 47% more light entering the camera, which should offer a decent boost to picture quality in low light circumstances, with less noise. Samsung is testing a 12-megapixel sensor for the 3x telephoto snapper, boosting the megapixel count from the 10 megapixels lens seen on the previous iteration. The leaker also mentions a new laser AF sensor for faster focusing speeds, as well as a next-gen Pro visual engine to enhance picture processing. The 50 megapixels ultra-wide and 5x telephoto lenses are poised to remain the same. However, the front-facing camera will supposedly inherit features like 4K 120 FPS slow-motion video recording. For the past few generations of the Ultra, Samsung has counted on Qualcomm to power its flagships. However, there could be a change with the Galaxy S26 Ultra, because it's believed to employ the Snapdragon 8 Elite 2 chipset, and perhaps an in-house Exynos one for select markets. However, the leaker goes on to claim that, due to reportedly low yield, it is likely to be equipped mainly in European models. If accurate, this would be a return to a previous norm for Samsung, where it supplied flagship models with the Exynos CPU in select regions and Qualcomm-made Snapdragon Silicon in others, like as the US. Meaning the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra should be ready to employ the next Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 2 CPU. Digital Chat Station claims that the CPU will run at 4.6 GHz, with the GPU clocked at 1.2 GHz, while leaked software for the S26 Ultra points at the Snapdragon 8 Elite 2 chip as well. In recent years, Samsung has been relatively consistent with the release date of its S-series phones, while the phones used to come in spring, as late as May 29, in the case of the Galaxy S3. Starting 2019, the devices have been issued no later than March 6, with launch events conducted in January or February. It's been trending earlier too. The Samsung Galaxy S25 released on February 7, whereas the S24 premiered on January 31. In other words, it's quite likely that the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra will be on shelves by mid-February, with an event roughly 2 weeks before release day. The key question is whether Samsung will want to hike the price in 2026. The S25 Ultra launched at $1,299, escalating to $1,419 for 512 gig storage, or $1,659 for 1 terabyte, which is the same set of manufacturers' suggested retail price as its predecessor. The 3 Ultra handsets before that started at $1,199, so perhaps it's a good omen that things will stay unchanged for another year. Another bright sign. It's been rumored that the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 2 expected to power the upcoming phones won't cost Samsung more than the Gen 1. If true, there's one less added expense that Samsung might pass on to the consumer. Samsung's Galaxy Ultra phones haven't changed their design too much in recent years, and so far there's little evidence to suggest the S26 Ultra will look drastically different either. However, there are a few tiny adjustments that could provide some added style points. For starters, it sounds like the phone will be becoming thinner. The trusted tipster Ice Universe says that the phone will be between 7 and 8 mm thick with a slightly increased width and height. For perspective, the S25 Ultra is 0.32 inches, 8.1 mm thick, suggesting the change might barely be noticed or quite a huge difference, depending on where exactly it lands. Worryingly, for aficionados of the S Pen, this new thinness might be achieved by limiting the adaptability of the stylus. In June, the leaker Panda Flash Pro said that Samsung will be deleting the S Pen digitizer, which is responsible for features like pressure sensitivity and hovering choices, though he later claimed that Samsung were disappointed with test results. So presumably that means it's safe for now. More radically, the Korean leaker Crow has projected the S26 Ultra to be the first non-folding Samsung phone to employ an underscreen camera, abandoning the hole punch-sized notch that's resided at the top of the screen on the company's phones since 2019. Given Samsung discontinued the 4-megapixels underscreen camera from the previous Z Fold 7, that's certainly one to take with a pinch of salt, however. The second tip comes from Sam Mobile, which observed that China's Quality Certification Center has issued a certification for a battery believed to be destined for the Galaxy S26 Ultra. It has a rated capacity of 4,885 milliamps, which is the same as indicated for the S25 Ultra, albeit with an eventual advertised usual capacity of 5,000 milliamps. On one level, this is no surprise, given Samsung has kept battery capacity steady since 2020's Galaxy S20 Ultra, and indeed both Galaxy Club and Ice Universe have previously forecast no advance on capacity. But it's still disappointing considering earlier sources indicated that Samsung's planned adoption of silicon-carbon batteries might lead to a capacity of between 6,000 milliamps and 7,000 milliamps, should the firm choose to use a comparable sized cell. This means either the technology isn't available, or Samsung has chosen to remain with the same capacity with a smaller size. Disappointment aside, it's worth remembering that the S25 Ultra's battery life is very strong as things stand, with the phone attaining a solid 17 hours and 14 minutes in our regular battery test, rising to 18 hours and 35 minutes in 60Hz mode. In addition to this, we may yet get a battery-related consolation prize. Last month, leaked code from the One UI 8.5 update revealed that charging speeds will improve from 45 watt to 60 watt on the Galaxy S26 Ultra, meaning less time at the power outlet if you're in a rush. So, that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more tech news and updates.